and welcome back to your weekly PlayStation podcast, Talking the PS, where we get together and round up all of the juicy PlayStation news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/Helix Plays Games, and also up there available in the digital clouds on your podcast preference of choice. You're joining myself, Chris, alongside the man of many pixels, Mr. Richie.
Hello, everyone.
Who is not hungover. And below him, our chaotic neutral returning once again, also not hungover, Rob.
Hello.
Hello, indeed. And we do have a very special show for you all this week because this is, in fact, the last ever, well, maybe not ever, episode of Talking the PS because we have some exciting channel news. So before we do get into all of the usual rigmarole and a fantastic show we do have lined up talking about PlayStation's Project Cronos, Modern Warfare 3, finally announced in August, PlayStation Plus games, we need to take just a moment to give you an update on the channel, our lives, and what's going to be happening going forward. So no doubt by the time you're watching or listening to this, you will have noticed the channel has gone through a bit of a rebrand, a bit of a refresh. And if you are a long-time viewer or listener of the show or any of our content, you'll know we like to evolve things, keep you guys on your toes, and keep it a little bit fresh. So we thought it's about time something needs to change and mix things up a little bit for the better, I will point out. So in terms of kind of scheduling and what the channel's going to look like going forward, it is a wholly positive thing. It's better for everyone involved, and hopefully you'll all agree. And guess where do we start, guys? The rebrand of the name. So we're now Talking the PS. You're probably listening to this on the GamerGuild TV channel. That's who we are going to be going forward, the GamerGuild. And our shows are going to be condensed into one. We're going to have one show which could run for a little bit longer, and it's going to be called the GamerGuild Podcast. You can see where we're going with the theming already. Richie's already been dropping GG, everyone, into the end of a couple of episodes. Little tease there, little tease there.
We like to do little teasers. Every time we do one of these channel updates, we always do a tease.
We do.
Up to us.
And there is a very good reason for the channel update, and it comes down to the reality of life, essentially. I have a newborn child now. We all have very busy jobs. Rob, you just moved house as well. And the reality is we've been doing this for hobby for, we're now 5th year, but we've been doing it coming up on 4 years. If we don't go off the calendar year, we fudge it a little bit by saying 5 years, 2019. 20, 21, 22, 23. It's just fun. It's fun to lie about things and say we've been doing things longer. I just want to hit that 5-year milestone. So the good news is, obviously, we're not going away. Nothing's happening, but we do need to streamline the channel. I want to spend more time with my family, and you guys, again, want to, I think, just get back to playing games and actually having a bit more time in our life, because there is a lot of effort that goes into these shows, and having multiple shows a week means twice as many rendering shows, twice as many bits of editing to do, twice as many audio formats to do. As you see, a bit of a trend.
It takes time to write the shows as well.
Yeah, gather the news, get it in the doc, publish it, schedule things, timestamps. Even for a timestamp, we have to listen through the show and get the specific moments in which we've talked about the topic. So it all adds up, and the reality is, I want to spend more time with my family. We all want to spend more time with our loved ones and stuff. But we don't want to kind of let things go. So after all the changes we've gone through with Sounds of Stadia originally, cloud gaming, and Amazon Luna now, obviously, we've branched out on Xbox and PlayStation, but we do play all things, and we kind of feel like we're always restrained a little bit by specific podcasts about a particular platform, and I think this way we can bring it all under one umbrella. Obviously, we had Helix Plays Games, Helix Cloud Games formerly. We went through a couple of tweaks and changes, but the reality is we want to bring it all together under one umbrella, so you, as our amazing viewers and listeners out there, can just get more of what you want in a better quality. That's better for everybody involved, and I think for us it is just that well-being, bit of time back, but we want to still bring you great content. So from next week, we will have one podcast going live on Mondays, I think, is our settled date. Richie, I think that's pretty much the cadence we're happy with.
Monday's always been our default podcast.
Yeah. So you'll still start your week with some fantastic content from us. We will still have live streams. We'll still have watch-alongs. We'll react to stuff in the moment. It just means we have that extra hour back here for editing, that extra half an hour here for thumbnails, that extra half an hour on a Tuesday for doing stuff. And we're not, never say never, I guess. There's nothing to say these shows can come back in the future, or new shows will still come about. We need to do what's right for us, and the reality is, if we don't make this change, you'd get nothing. So, what's better, something or nothing? What do you think?
We're basically taking the best of Talking the PS and the best of XPass, smashing them together, but also gives us a platform to talk about stuff that we currently don't. Things like if something's happening with Nintendo, or with GeForce Now, or we do have Luna listening, but it's just all going to be in one show, so it's going to be the highlights of the news rather than sometimes digging through websites looking for talking about stories that we're not particularly interested in, not you guys aren't particularly interested in, just to make up the time.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be a lot more focused. on all more interesting topics.
Yeah, and
every
I think the
single
fact
week.
that Richie, you're like a huge Nintendo fan.
Yeah.
I'm a huge PC gamer.
Mhm.
No, we're not talking about PC gaming. We're talking about proper gaming, Rob.
Please,
Sorry.
There's Mr. Nintendo Switch over there talking about proper gaming.
Yeah.
I'm just winding
With
you
your
up.
720p's. But the reality is, like, we still talk about cloud gaming. That is in the channel's DNA, and it gives us a chance to talk about, like, Nvidia, Lunar a lot more loosely when there is news that happens regarding that. But again, hopefully you'll all agree. Obviously, it may be a bit of a stark change for some of you not having a show drop on a Tuesday, but we did say the benefit of that is because we don't have to stop and start recording a new show, is there's nothing to say the GamerGuild podcast cannot be a little bit longer. If the news requires it, we could go for like 1 hour 15, 1 hour 20, whatever it needs, the requirement is, without that rush to kind of keep everything wrapped up in a parcel because we need to stop and start again on recording XPass, for example, and repeat everything over with our audio cues, our camera recordings, our notes, get up new articles, and again, it's all just time that stacks up and stacks up. So hopefully more gaming coming to you, more gaming conversation, just in one tidy place. There are, like, we haven't even mentioned the fees, but like we pay to host the podcast in audio format, so it'll save us as a company $20 a month, I think it is, which means we can put that back into more investments, such as merchandise. You've all been asking for it. It's been in the works for a long, long time. And
I've literally been promising it for about 3 years.
You have.
Just never got around to it.
And we can do that now. So the merch store, at the time of listening, whether you're a Helix hero or not, this should be live, the merch store. I don't know how YouTube pushes things live, but we've got designs. They're all there ready to go. It's done through Spreadshirt, so you're getting good quality. It's up on the show. So if you want a t-shirt, old or new, we've got the new logo up there. We've got the old one, Sounds of Stadia t-shirt. If you want to bag yourself one of them for retro nostalgia, it's going to be available there. So it's all good stuff, guys. And again, I think we should just stress that we're not going anywhere, and the changes are made, so we're not going anywhere. And we're looking forward to the next stage in Sounds of Stadia, Helix Cloud Games, Helix Players Games. We will now be GamerGuild TV across all social channels. So I would say search it out, but you probably already follow us. It just changes in the back end. So
you're currently
exciting.
Listening to the show.
You're
here.
You're here.
This is where you need to be.
You found us. Congratulations.
Although if you're on podcast services, it'll probably go through the XPass feed rather than talking to PS.
Yes, I think that's the plan. And sometimes it takes a bit weird. So if you listen to this on some random podcast service, it might still show us the XPass logo for like another week while the data's pushed through and cleans out the pipes. But that's not on us. That's on like Apple or Google or whoever does that behind the scenes. But exciting stuff. So, gentlemen, we would normally talk about the games we've been playing, but I think in the interest of the show and time, which we've been talking about anyway, we'll skip what we've been playing this week because all you guys do is talk about playing Nintendo for Richie on a PlayStation podcast. Rob talks about PC on an Xbox podcast. And why, if only we had a show where we could talk about those things, and it would be okay. But we're here to talk about PlayStation, and as I said, we do have a very exciting show lined up for you all. So buckle in, strap down, and let's talk about some PlayStation news. Rob, if you could introduce us to the
very last time, the properly prepared PlayStation Bruising Points, formerly known as the news.
The news.
The news.
And if you sat there wondering, what are they going to do about the news intro? Well, we've got you covered. We've got you covered with another tongue twister. We don't.
I think it was like something like 1 o'clock in the morning one day. It just came to mind. I just texted to Chris so I wouldn't forget about it. Right, there we go.
And I promptly
I'm
replied,
like a dad watching kids open a Christmas present right now because I have no idea what it is. So.
What's going on? Yeah, and I just promptly text Richie back on. It's 1:30. Go to sleep. But
you were right.
I was up. I was probably still chipping away through Final Fantasy 16. So, kicking things off with the week, reading an exclusive article from Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming. We have details on PlayStation's Project Cronos, which is going to be the cloud streaming platform for PlayStation 5 games. We did know about this for quite some time. It's been in the works. They've been kind of teasing it. We actually had some reports this week of PlayStation Plus Premium members actually having access to cloud gaming in kind of like a beta test scenario, but it looks like it's real. It's seemingly on the horizon, and I've got a couple of, I'll just break down the article in bullet points so it makes it a bit more digestible. Codename is Project Cronos, as I mentioned. It's in beta stage 8 at the moment, so they've gone through a couple of iterations already. They aim to build a robust streaming experience to step forward the company's growth in cloud gaming, which, let's face it, they've been quite stagnant on in the cloud gaming realm for quite some time now. Even Google came and went in that time, and PlayStation have done nothing with their cloud gaming. It's been in development for about 5 years, from what we know. It's got SSDs running locally on PlayStation 5. So similar to how Xbox do theirs, they have essentially Series X's running in a Microsoft data bank somewhere that powers the cloud. That's created challenges for Sony because, let's face it, they are not a web infrastructure. Like, we know Amazon have AWS and Google have theirs, but like, this is probably a big tech leap for Sony. Even though they're a tech company, they're not known for having server farms and stuff like that, even though they do. But so that's like latency and functionality has been a bit of a stumbling block with this one. Sony have designed a completely new network storage solution, which is going to leverage those SSDs and processors of the PS5. The final project is going to come with some, it's under codename Kura, which apparently can read up to 5 gigabits per second with less than 1 millisecond of latency, which we know ping and latency is very, very important for cloud gaming, if not the most important thing, in fact. It's Sony going to roll out 28 data centers across 15 locations. 28 data centers across 15 locations doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, I guess it could. At the same location, you can have multiple ones. And a plan for a full launch in April, financial year April 23 to March 24. So not too far off. Could be tomorrow for all we know. Over to you. We are. Over to you then, Richie. Cloud gaming. You've been covering it for nearly 5 years, as I mentioned on the channel, and I kind of think we've always said PlayStation's been very lackluster on this front.
Yeah.
What do you think of these details then? Are they doing the right thing holding off, and does it finally get you excited to play PlayStation 5 games in the cloud properly?
I mean, they've had PlayStation Now, which has then got pushed into like PlayStation Plus and kind of got obfuscated by that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was clearly not really good enough for PS5 stuff. So I think they've done the smart thing in holding off the PS5 cloud gaming until they're ready, till they're happy with the tech side of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've advocated for years they should just, like, especially with Stadia gone, they should just have a web of Google.
Yeah,
and buy the rights to lease out their technology, because the technology for Stadia was great, and then just adapt it to suit PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a good move. This is what we want to see. Like, it took some time, but they're getting there, and that's the main thing. It has interesting applications for the Q Lite as well, the handheld streaming thing coming from Sony, because at the moment that is just a remote play device, from what we know.
Mm-hmm.
But if they are going to push cloud gaming further, that suddenly becomes a more enticing prospect to me.
Yeah, we've always said, like, the Q Lite serves a very niche audience for PlayStation gamers, but having that ability to stream without the need of your console being turned on somewhere in the world, which is, again, it seems odd that you have to have it running somewhere.
Else is using your console. For example, if your wife is using the console while you're away with work, Q Lite, you can just cloud game, done.
Yeah. But we'll have to wait on the Q Lite still to find out that one. How about yourself, Rob? You've dabbled in cloud gaming on and off a couple of times. Is this the right move, and does it finally excite you?
I mean, it's definitely the right move. I can't really find myself getting excited with the experience I've currently had on PlayStation's attempts at kind of streaming. So, like, whilst I'm like, it's a great move, but I just wanted to see it done well, because I don't think they can, like, fumble it again. So I'm going to reserve judgment until it's out and lots more people have, like, kind of hands-on experience.
They need to deal with, like, the PC app, because the PC app was crap.
Yeah, the client browser was shocking.
Yeah, so there's like a lot of stuff they need to do to get it in a position where, like, it's going to take away from my, like, Xbox streaming time, I guess. So I hope they can do it, but I'm being cautious up until I see some positive things, I think.
Yeah, I think there's something you pointed there about kind of like another go at it, because they have had, like, weak attempts, and they're so far behind in terms of, like, it's mad that on Xbox, like, we do a lot of our live streams on a Thursday and a Friday here on the channel, and a lot of it does come from Xbox because it's just easy to stream. Day one games are there to stream in the cloud immediately. And they're still working behind the scenes on things like when you purchase a game to be able to stream like a purchase game rather than it have to be a Game Pass requirement. But yeah, Sony having like PS5 games not available for, like, the PS5 is coming up like 3-year-old this year, and it's mad to think, like, you cannot play God of War Ragnarok just via cloud because it's just not a thing that they do. And it's like, but I could play Halo Infinite day one on Xbox just like right off the bat via cloud, and it's like those little niggles where I'd love just parity across like the board on like every cloud gaming outlet is like, yeah, day one, it's there, you can play it if you want to, or you can download it and have it natively if you wish. But it's that option and that kind of variety, because yeah, I think I love just jumping in with cloud gaming, just it's there, I don't have to worry about it, I just click play and a few seconds of loading and bang, we're into the game, and it's the convenience is so good. So
yeah, we are hearing that actually, unlike Xbox, this will be able, you just be able to purchase games, be able to cloud stream, where Xbox haven't, for whatever reason, haven't managed to tick that box yet. So that, I think that's good as someone where my Xbox is mainly just my Game Pass machine, so that's never been a huge issue for me. But my PlayStation, however, is mainly purchase games. So like I'd want to be able to, like, for example, stream Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Is that what you're on to next? Oh, that's your next big one. Yeah, next big one. I'm thinking you're on still about playing 7, isn't it? But yeah, so exciting stuff. We know a little bit of details. It makes sense, the tech side of it. It needs to be top end, top of the line to kind of push that cloud gaming. And as it takes a backseat, I think, in the industry, in cloud gaming, it had a bit of a rise with the Stadia and the Luna and stuff, but now it's definitely on like the downward trend of the roller coaster journey that cloud gaming has been on. This might be another kind of injection of energy that makes people go, oh, you know what, it is a viable way to play games. I do not need a PlayStation 5 to play them. So it could be very interesting, but hopefully we'll see a little bit more as the Q Lite comes close to the horizon, and as does Project Cronos. I'm sure Sony will say something official in the imminent future. In one of the games you might be playing in the cloud, if Sony has their way, it might in fact be Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. We had a teaser trailer drop, and unlike for the last several months, we no longer have to just keep calling it Call of Duty 2023, because Activision lifted the curtain on this week's trailer, basically showcasing the return of Makarov, if anyone who's played the game previously. This is the third iteration of the Modern Warfare series, and the trailer's basically showing off who the villain, the main character is, who you fight off against. We mentioned this, I think, on 2 weeks ago, Richie. We talked about Modern Warfare 3 on X-Pass, I think, and we couldn't remember if Modern Warfare 3 was already a game that had came out and actually existed, or it was in fact a remake. So I guess, Rob, do you have any history with Modern Warfare 3? I think most of us have all played Modern Warfare 2, but...
Yeah, I fell off on number 2, so did I play number 3? I can't actually remember now. I think I might have played it, but they all kind of blend into one after a while, don't they? And like, I honestly thought there was no topping number 2 anyway, and I think that's part of the reason I kind of, sacked off the series, to be honest.
Yeah.
But this isn't. It's a remake in so far as like a reimagining almost, isn't it? This, all right, and
it's basically everything polished up. So what they've done in the last few years with Modern Warfare 1, then 2, and seemingly is going to be 3, is just taking the original and just really giving it a good old polish. They've said it's going to come with all of its zombie modes and its online maps and stuff. It's all going to be basically one for one, just a slicker next-gen version of all that, which... I guess that's all you really need if you're going to do a remake for Call of Duty. It's not like the stories aren't fantastic to begin with. I think the campaigns, especially with the Modern Warfare series, are always famed of just being one of the, like, if not the most popular and famous, the most beloved of the Call of Duty series. It is Modern Warfare that kind of put it on the map and it's set its trajectory for, I guess, what it came to be today. So yeah, following through. I'm very curious to see if we actually end up with a Modern Warfare 4 at some point. Like, now they've run out of remakes. Do they go back and do Black Ops remake, or are we starting to get into that routine where they're not making anything new now? I'd like to see
we've been in that little spin for a while, haven't it?
It does seem like it, yeah. But obviously, August 17th is the big reveal, so look out for that one then.
I've played it. I've got about 18.6 hours on Steam of Modern Warfare 3.
You didn't remember any of it?
Nope.
It's interesting, yeah, because I've obviously played it as well, but I don't. For some Modern Warfare 2, my brain just goes, yeah. Totally put half my life into that back in the day. But when we said 3, I think when it was leaked a few weeks ago, my brain was like, I can't place this anywhere in my memory's history.
And that's also plus an extra 5 hours of multiplayer compared to Modern Warfare 2. I've got 91.6 hours of single player.
That's more like
and
it.
52.8 of multiplayer. You can see I've very much dropped off after 2. Like I probably bought 3 and just went, I'm out.
Yeah. Interesting one. So will either of you be checking out Modern Warfare 3? Is there an urge to pull you back in, or have we all just...
If it's going to come on Game Pass, I'll definitely check it out.
Game Pass, PS Plus, I'll definitely check it out, but I'm not going out my way to buy it.
I'm going to safely say it ain't coming to either of those subscriptions anytime yet. I think the Activision stuff I mean, we'll probably talk about it on X Pass, but for me, it's just I don't think we're seeing Call of Duty go into any subscription service, like especially at launch. Like maybe in a year or so's time, like we recently got Black Ops last month, right, for PlayStation Plus. I don't think a new game day and date, especially when they can sell it for like what, £80, whatever. I don't think so. But November 10th launch, so taking its typical back end of the year slot. Could you imagine getting a Call of Duty in like a February? I think it'd feel very weird, wouldn't it? It just wouldn't fit the cadence of what everyone's been like accustomed to. Is it's coming up on Christmas, you're doing your shopping, you get a FIFA, you get a Call of Duty, and then a bunch of other stuff in between. So yeah, Modern Warfare 3. Will we see 4? Let us know in the comments below if you'll be picking up Modern Warfare 3. Pivoting to a bunch of other games, in fact, we got your PlayStation Plus mid-month catalogue for those on Premium and Extra. We got a slew of games, 2 of which are coming day in date. We did know about Sea of Stars. We actually spoke about it a couple of weeks back when it was revealed to be coming at the back end of the month, so it's not available until the 28th, the 29th, I think, so right at the very, very tail end, but it's coming either way. And some of the other games in the list, we won't go in depth into all of them, but we know Sea of Stars Moving Out 2 actually is another day one release. So for those who are fans of Get Packed, who remember us playing that, Moving Out is essentially the Overcooked version of Get Packed. I'd say the artistic style is a lot closer to Overcooked, where I think Get Packed tried to do something a little bit different with it's like everyone was like quite a thin stick model, and I think the animations
is Moving Out the Team 17 one.
Yes,
there was like,
yeah.
There was about 3 of them came out about the same time. There was Get Packed, Moving Out. What was the third one? I'm sure there was 3.
I'm not too sure, but sequel to Moving Out, which the first one was quite beloved, just like we love Overcooked here on the channel. My guess is it's going to be more of the same. It's more levels, more maps, a couple of variations. They have added multiplayer, and I will say, for online co-op. So if anyone played the original Moving Out and got a little bit frustrated at like similar to Overcooked, it's not really a single player game at all. It's very difficult because just the nature of like handing stuff over. Trying to carry a couch as a single player when you both need to get like one end of the couch and drag it out, I can't see that being that fun. So 2-player and having that kind of alleviates it a little bit. So that's a nice fun one to find coming in the near future. We've also got Destiny 2, the Witch Queen content is dropping, which is always good to see. Richie, Witch Queen, that was... why do I feel like that was quite recent?
I'm not sure. Was it the last one or one before? Because there's usually about one a year, isn't there?
Yeah, it's not. So
was it Forsaken or something?
Possibly, yeah. We're sort of in touch with Destiny now.
Witch Queen was 2022, February 2022. Oh,
so it is quite a recent one. That's good to see.
Yeah, it's fairly recent.
A little bit of an injection into that. Just one for you, Rob, as our accustomed Yakuza fan who plays through all of them. You're our go-to expert. Lost Judgment is coming out as well to PS4 and PS5. Is this the time you jump back into Yakuza as our resident expert? Which I think... How much of it did you actually play in the end?
Is this actually a Yakuza game, or is it just someone who was in the Yakuza?
Oh, well, actually, that's a good question.
It's a spin-off, isn't it? There was Judgment, and then Lost Judgment's the second one in the series. But I think they are like Yakuza spin-offs.
Okay.
You're the expert.
Am I? Just because
You've played more Yakuza games than us.
I just think when we got that... I think it was actually last year when PlayStation Plus went through its full rebrand, we got quite a lot of Yakuza games was like sprinkled in over the first few months. I think you checked one of them out, and you were like, right.
Now I'm an expert.
Now you're our resident expert.
I think it is such a great series. It's just the stepping in points very, very hard.
Where would you even begin? Because there's prequels, there's Yukami, and there's so much. If you're looking to start somewhere easier, Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed is also coming, so there's a nice little easier step on point. That was remastered. That was actually a few games we got that came out last year. Lost Judgment was last year. Destroy All Humans Reprobe was last year. The Destiny was last year. So that's actually quite a good list already of like recent content, I would say. Like, it's not old shit they're giving us. It's quite... But then again, didn't we say this for subscriptions, that the longer they go on for, the more you dry the well of like what's actually available, because it's like you can't say 20 games come out a month, like good games, like decent games. If you're giving 10 plus away for free every month with a subscription, like year over year, you're going to hit a saturation point where the games aren't coming out at a level of quality and a frequency where you can give multiple ones out a month. So that's when we'll start to see, like, when stuff comes back. It's always bad when you see a month where it's like, well, this was already here. So interesting. 2 Point Hospital Jumbo Edition for PS4 is also coming. Source of Madness to PS4, PS5. Curse to Golf is coming. Dreams, which... may sound weird to some of you out there thinking, Chris, we already got Dreams. It's a claimable game. That was right, but if you forget or didn't claim it on your PlayStation Plus account for this month of August, it's also there to play as part of the catalogue. So it means basically if you've only got a PlayStation this Christmas, you still would get Dreams as part of the collection as opposed to missing out on claiming it in the month.
You won't if you get it for Christmas because it shuts down in September.
The servers, but all the games and stuff are still playable. So the game will still function, it just won't be online as such. PJ Masks, Heroes of the Night for those family, along with Hotel Transylvania, Scary Tales, and Lawn Mowing Simulator Landmark Edition for those looking to cut some grass and touch some grass. Spellforce Reforced. Terrible name. Reforce or yeah, it is. I thought it was Reforged. Reforced. Spellforce 3 Reforced. That's a decision in marketing that should have changed, having two forces in your name. Anyway, Midnight Express, and then finally wrapping up with some PlayStation classics. We are getting Medieval Resurrection, Ape Escape on the Loose, and Pursuit Force Extreme Justice. Richie, anything particular from this list between your Final Fantasy binges that stand out for you?
I'm actually just having a quick look at Spellforce Reforced. Terrible name, but it looks like a kind of like old school like Dungeons and Dragons, kind of like a Baldur's Gate-esque style game.
Mm-hmm.
It's RPG strategy, real time. It looks like it could be an interesting game in there.
I always think it's worrying when we get to the third game in a series and I've not heard of it before.
Yeah.
Like, where has it been for the last decade? If it's that good, I probably would have seen it at some point.
But the fact that they've made it to free games shows there must be at least someone out there buying it.
At least one.
So you can look at it both ways and go, I haven't heard of it, but
remember how many Saints Row games we've had though as well.
Yeah, Lawn Mowing Simulator could be good for a laugh. And honestly, I know this has come to the PlayStation Plus, but you can also get on CD keys for £1.99.
CD key. Well, there you go. There's your price budget.
Deal of the day, just £2.
How about yourself, Rob? Anything jump out for you this month?
Oh, it's all 2 Point Hospital. I love that game.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it mobile? It's most popular on.
I don't know. I played it on PC, but it's like a chilled out enough kind of game where I think it will work as like a couch kind of gaming scenario. So I'm probably going to check that out.
Yeah, I think
I put like a lot of hours into it on PC, but sometimes you want to be away from like not at your desk.
Yeah,
right?
You work at your desk, you do your podcasts at your desk, and then it's like, and then you're back at your desk playing. It's like you want to separate them somewhat. Moving out too for me probably. I think there's always a fun party stream in there somewhere where you'll just jump on with our lovely audience and just ensue with some chaos of moving shit out in and out of the house. Because Get Pack was really fun, and it's literally just Get Pack with a different skin over it essentially. And Overcooked were big fans of that, so that's great to see. Any of the classics do anything for either you two?
Well,
a bit of Ape Escape or Medieval?
Okay. Yeah, they seem like decent games. It's the PSP version of Medieval, and I think is it the PSP version of Ape Escape?
It is, yeah.
They're both old games, so I don't necessarily think that's a problematic thing. They're classics, like
in terms of preservation. Yeah. It's good to see that we're getting PSP games on the PS5 platform, because like they would have literally been stranded on a console that's like hard to find now, and it's old, and now you can play them on your big, probably blown up to a horrible size on your 4K TV, and they'll not look great, but they are there nonetheless.
Everyone lamenting the death of the Vita. Project Q Lite plus the PlayStation Plus Classics Edition. There you go.
Well, that's the one thing for Classics they've not announced is Vita games, which is weird that we're getting PSP ports, but they've not even blinked an eyelid at Vita games, because there's some fantastic Vita games out there too. But maybe that's like a surprise for many. Yeah,
it break glass in case of emergency moments, like
when we're running out of games.
We're running low on games. The quality, as you mentioned, the quality sometimes drying up. Okay, now we'll start pushing Vita games, and then you can do a big marketing push of Vita games that come to PlayStation Classics.
Yeah, play them on your Q Lite, relive your Vita life. Remember when the launch the premium with the classics, and the first one we got was Toy Story 2? Like such a random, like, it's a great game.
Good game though,
but so random for.
It was such a bizarre choice.
But either way, we've got like things like Siphon Filter have came out still, but there's a lot stuck on there that I'd love to see still keep coming across. So another month for PlayStation Plus. Get out there, claim those games if you wish. One of the games you can claim on Xbox right now, which I know just pivoting away, we'll talk about yesterday, is Quake 2. Got a stealth drop this week. Richie, I'll throw it over to you because you did a live stream this past, was it Friday?
I did.
Did you do it on Friday?
Yeah, I did it Friday.
Give the people a little snippet of your time with Quake 2. Should they check it out?
So I don't think I've ever played Quake before then. So I don't really. I was talking about this during the live stream. Like when we played GoldenEye, me and you both had tons of nostalgia for that game. So I was going in. It's quite an interesting. Like, okay, I was aware of Quake back in the day, very much aware of it. Never played it, so it was quite interesting to jump in, and actually I had a great time. And one thing I did comment during the live stream is why you know how indie developers basically energized the 2D platformer. Why haven't they done it for like the early first person shooters that like things like the original Dooms and Quakes and Wolfensteins of that sort of era of game? It feels like with the Quake works, it's really smooth, very fast paced. It plays almost like a modern game, but with a retro look.
Yeah.
So it's like there's something in there. I think it's really good.
So now you've played it for a little bit. I don't know what your history is with it, Rob, but what's the gist of Quake? Like, why is it not just Doom? Is it space instead of Nazis? Like, what's the premise of it?
I'm not quite sure, to be honest. It's not as horror themed as Doom.
Right.
The enemies I tend to be like it's a bit more sci-fi. So like this, like the enemies are either just like general blokes with like machine guns, or sometimes there's like some drones. There's some weird creatures in there, like one like a lickery kind of thing.
Just some bloke.
Some blokes with machines guns. Sorry, mate.
Yes.
Richie's out there fighting Keiths and Daves and Marks.
Damn it, Kevin! Put down the machine gun.
Damn it, Kevin. So, Rob, any history with Quake franchise, or is this kind of like a soft spot for you?
Do you like when I first got my like the family PC, which eventually migrated to my bedroom? Like Quake was one of the games I remember playing on there, like very specifically. But aside, like those kind of games all mash into one during that kind of era of like the very first kind of generation of FPS, I guess you'd say. So I played the first one a little bit. I believe I've played Quake 2 as well originally, but again, they all blend into like titles, because it had like Unreal Tournament as well, kind of kicking around in that time period, I believe. So I sometimes get those two games mixed up.
Yeah, and it dropped as a stealth drop, we should say, as well. As QuakeCon took place in America this past week, and that was kind of where it came from, along with the kind of news about expansions rolling out. Another thing that goes back to Bethesda and obviously owned by Xbox playing well with older franchises. Like, this did not have to come out on PS4 and PS5, and yet, especially after all like the legal stuff, imagine how easy it would have been for Microsoft, like after all that court case FTC shit, to just turn around and go, you know what? No, we're not putting Quake on PlayStation because of all the shit they just give us for the last several months. But again, they said wherever there's an audience, there apparently it is, and yeah, Quake is now available. How did the remaster run, Richie, for what you felt? I know you were saying in the live stream about it was like responsive and quick.
Yeah, it was absolutely smooth, incredibly smooth. Compared to like the original games, where the original games are pretty much you didn't really have much of a look up or down. You just kind of side to side, and like you do have a proper aim system now, like from like a modern, almost feels like a modern game in the way it plays. Really quick, really smooth. I had auto aim turned off, which makes it actually quite hard because these games are designed to be played with auto aim.
Yeah.
So you point your gun roughly in like the direction of the enemy, you pull the trigger, and it shoots.
Yep.
Now I'm just like, I'm having to actually aim, which is an interesting layer of difficulty. And this is why I think like the kind of like retro first person shooters could make a modern comeback through like the indie scene.
Yeah, there's obviously a place for them, and I'd imagine like the way the level design tends to be done is it would probably lend itself to indie developers really, really well. So Quake 2, is there a Quake 3? I feel like that's a thing as well.
I think so, but
there is.
Quake 2, it comes with as well, we should mention, that comes with 3 expansions, and also Quake 2 64's in there as well.
Oh, so like when we got Doom 64 in with Eternal, I want to say it was, but interesting.
Same idea.
Do you think would you kind of a new Quake entry then, like we got with Doom Eternal and Doom 2016, I want to say off the top of my head, like a kind of like a little rebrand, relaunch kind of thing?
I could see something like that. This might be Bethesda testing the waters. Let's drop Quake, see how it goes. I mean, QuakeCon's still going, so there's definitely like a fandom there. And yeah, like we could see like a Doom style remake, like just relaunch the series.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a way out because otherwise they would have probably just announced it. That would be a perfect one more thing at QuakeCon situation.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's anytime soon. But...
One more thing. Yeah, brilliant. So Quake, still ticking over, still coming out. And check out, more importantly, Richie's live stream on the channel. You played for about an hour and a half. How far did you get through it? A couple of levels?
Quite a few levels, yeah.
Yeah, you can blitz through them quite quick, can you, really? Like, they're not long levels. Like, the games are so old. Like, video games were so short. I reckon you could finish that in a few hours, like, if you just powered through.
Yeah. What you have to realise, though, is it doesn't have some modern quality of life things like autosaves. So I was like, after every fight, I was like, quickly, I'll drop a save that. Because it was quite hard. Yeah, I don't want... I mean, I do that anyway, but I was saying it's more for the stream that no one wants to watch me go through the same fight over and over and over and over again. It's not Dark Souls.
Yeah. And a lot of it is the same assets reused, isn't it? Like level to level. It's so that makes sense. Speaking of reusing assets, our next story of the week, the long-rumored Red Dead Redemption, not a remake, a remaster, has been confirmed. We had rumors and stuff from like Rockstar's website being tweaked, and there's been stuff circling for quite some time. We did finally get the announcement. It's coming, however, to PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. So the 2010 PS3 and Xbox 360, which has been bubbling around for quite some time. Do remember, in Red Dead Redemption 2, the entirety of the map from Red Dead 1 is in the game. So, not really a spoiler, but it's there. So the map has been recreated lovingly in the new engine for Red Dead 2. And yet we're getting a PS4 port, so no PS5 version. We should point out it's not coming to the Series X or S because it's already playable in 4K on Xbox because of Xbox's, what's it called, Richie? It's not up-res and it's like, but it's not.
It's just backwards compatibility.
It is, but they do stuff to it, don't they? They like tweak the settings and
smart
stuff.
deploy. Oh,
yeah, there's like a term for it that they use. But essentially, they are bundling Undead Nightmare and Red Dead Redemption into a port. Essentially, is the best it can be described. It's not a remaster. It's coming on August 17th, so actually not long, though. I do appreciate the turnaround time of a week, and you can play this. Obviously portable for the first time using the Nintendo Switch. However, the internet and fans of the series are not happy. This seemingly off the back of Rockstar fecking up the Grand Theft Auto Definitive Trilogy. They've gone and struck gold twice with Red Dead Redemption, and it's not gone over well, to say the least.
What we have to remember as well for the Grand Theft Auto one is they pulled the originals, then dropped the remasters, and the remasters actually performed worse than the originals. So that was a kind of a bad move.
Yeah.
And I think this might be the internet getting in its own way, where because of the leaks, they're going to remaster or remake Red Dead Redemption. Everyone's built up what this is going to be when it was never. It's just a Switch port, effectively.
Yeah.
So I think. This, I think, is the internet built overhyping something that shouldn't have been because of the leaks, unfortunately. So I feel a bit sort of Rockstar in that sense because they'll be sat there going, guys, calm down. It's not what you think it is.
Yeah. It's kind of like, you've heard the rumours and the whisperings, so in your mind you've thought it's a full Red Dead remaster. £50, $50 stateside.
That's a bit pricey, actually.
For a game that's 13 years old.
For basically, this is a PS3 game. Now that you can now play in the PS4 and PS5.
Yeah,
it's not remastered, so they haven't done it. They've literally done none. They've moved it across.
Conversion. They're not even calling it like a what's it like? They're using the term conversion.
It's a port. It's not a remaster, so it is the PS3 version. Just now is compatible with PS4 and PS5.
Yeah. So it's
Twitch.
It's playable on PS5, but it is a PlayStation 4 version, which I think is some people as well. Just because some people just like to see that PS5 logo next to the artwork, just to say like it's definitively a PS5 game. Kind of like a collector who's got them physically. It would bug me that if I want to play Red Dead on my PS5, I now have to go and get a blue box case to play it on my PS5. And on my shelf, it's like white, blue.
Yeah,
that's
just
really
have to
little.
do 2 SKUs for the physical media. And
it's one of them things. Physical, we should point out, doesn't release until the 13th of October. So they're doing that clever business trick where, like, if you want it now, get it digitally. If you want a physical, you're gonna have to wait. Which I think it's just funneling more people towards that digital future, isn't it? Where because you're not gonna wait. Let's face it. If you're that urgent to play Red Dead, you're just going to buy it digitally and play it and enjoy it there. So great for Switch users because having Red Dead on the move is fantastic, albeit many years later. That is a point, yeah. Do you think this like stokes the fire for them to actually knuckle down and do a full remaster with Rockstar? Or do you think that just balls deep on GTA 6 now? It's like they just don't care. It's like just get it out, like the definitive edition. If it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. We don't care. We're rich enough anyway. Let's just get it out.
I think it depends how well it holds up. Really, if it holds up good enough, is it worth doing it when you could put your resources into something else? But keeping GTA Online going, GTA 6, maybe a Red Dead 3 or something. So it might be one of them. It's on the list, but not as a massive priority.
There is something to be said, I guess, Undead Nightmare being bundled in with it as well. So if you look at the price, it's currently the normal game's £32 on Xbox, like to buy. Undead Nightmare is a standalone, separate expansion, so it's a whole game unto itself. My guess is them two added together probably comes to about 50 quid anyway. So it's not like they're scalping the price off the top of you because it's all bundled in one. Undead Nightmare is fantastic. I'm so disappointed we didn't get that for Red Dead 2, like a spin-off, because seemingly they just don't care. Like GTA, we were promised story content for GTA 5 and it just never came because online took off so well. They just went, doesn't matter. So even though like some of the best DLC of all time is like the Ballad of Gay Tony and stuff and Liberty City, like stories and all that was so good back in the day, they just moved to online because that's where the money's at. So moving online though, I will point out we got some news similar on Rockstar to do with the Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm not sure if you guys covered this on last week's show, but behind the scenes the financial reports have been coming out for Take-Two. And essentially, April 2024 to March 2025, they've been advising their shareholders to see a significant inflection point. That's a report from the Chief Financial Officer, Lanley Goldstein, from Take-Two. And we all know what that means, right?
Yeah. How do you say we're going to drop one of the most anticipated games of all time without saying we're about to drop one of the most anticipated games of all time?
Yeah. And I quote, a strong trajectory of growth. Through our collective efforts, we continue to believe we're in a position of our business significant inflection point in fiscal 2025. So yeah, so it looks like they're aiming for, my guess is probably not this summer, but the summer after, GTA 6. So it's weird, it doesn't feel real because it's been so long. It's almost like this like ghost story that you hear about, this like ethereal GTA 6 that'll just never actually come. And we are actually getting to that point where realistically we might be playing GTA 6 in a year or two. Do we think it'll land well? Because remember, GTA 5 launched with online was busted when it came out. It did not work.
Oh, so bad, yeah.
And it's so weird. And then like we back to Red Dead, but like they stopped supporting Red Dead 2 online. I think Richie, we were actually one of our friends, Culler from the Stadia days. He nearly lost all this. He needed to get like journalists involved to help Rockstar get in touch with them to save his file because it was like thousands of hours that were lost. So they have a mixed messaging thing, but I think GTA is just such a big name. It's always going to sell. It's going to be like the most. In fact, I remember GTA 5 was sold out. Like you could not get a copy of GTA 5 back in the day if you hadn't pre-ordered it. It's like it's just such a big name. So who knows? GTA 6 record levels.
It'd be interesting to see how they handle GTA 6 after what they've learned with GTA Online. Does this just become the Grand Theft Auto platform going forward, and they just keep expanding upon it?
So this is the thing. I'm tempering my expectations for GTA 6 because this is the first GTA title we've had where they haven't had online just to like enrich themselves. Like it's always been it's like intensely polished first like kind of single player game, and like that scenario is completely different now. And like if you're Rockstar, I can't see like the focus from putting more resource into online must like the temptation must be there, right? And yeah, like I'm very curious to see how it happens.
Is it just going to effectively become a platform where it's going to have single player content in there, but then it just transitions over? Maybe once it just transitions over to this is going to be the new Grand Theft Auto Online, and then we're just going to add things like season passes and expanded content. Like maybe every few years you add a new map or something in, that kind of thing.
It'll be interesting to see. It's just gonna be. I think it's gonna be a very different thing than what we're used to.
I hope, because they've had so long to work on this, that they've taken the time over it and it comes out as polished as it should be. Because it's kind of inexcusable if it isn't polished out the gate. Because GTA 5 was launched on the PS3, so that this would have had 2 whole console generations to work on it. and they're not exactly needing to financially to rush this out the gate to get them sales, because how much money GTA Online is making, they're fine money wise, so they can realistically be very patient and get it right.
Yeah, it's
It
probably
just
one of
comes
the
down to
few.
having the will to do it.
Yeah, there's very few developers out there who have the benefit and the financial clout to just sit on a game for until it's ready. Like, we know a lot of them now are like, shareholders aside, they don't have to, like, Grand Theft Auto's had such a luxury of just like, just spend your time on it. It can be as big or as small as we need it to be, because online will support us in developing that. And it's going to be interesting to see how many people like migrate from old to new. Like, if you're playing GTA Online out there now, and like that is your shit, you play that all day every day. Do you just suddenly jump over and just forget, like, abandon everything? I wonder if there's going to be any kind of migration of, like, if you had like those GTA dollars, the shark, is it shark cards, like all that stuff? Will they want to phase people over, or is it just like a definitive chop off point of like, right, everything's a new and a go?
I think you'll get like some benefits. But
maybe
I think
should be some benefits, I'd almost want to just be a clean
one at a time, gentlemen, one at a time.
Yeah. It's not going to be like for like, because that you'll just skip loads of content, won't you? But I think it's going to be, you'll get some benefit, I think.
Yeah. I kind of hope it's just like clean slate, because it gives opportunity for new players, because GTA Online's been going for so long now. It's actually quite difficult as a new player to get it. It's the Destiny conundrum. Like, how do you play Destiny 2 now as a new player? You have no idea what's going on, and they've condensed things quite a lot, so it makes it quite tricky. So,
well, that's where I guess the story mode helps great. Like, if you jump straight into online, yes, it's going to be quite confusing, like we did a couple of weeks back. But if you start the campaign and play through the whole story, you're like 40 hours into playing the game by the time you would maybe eventually transition over to online. So it's not quite the same where you jump in online and it's like, oh shit, everything's online. There is actually like a nice, not even a tutorial, but the campaign is more than enough to get you familiar with like the mechanics of the game and how it works and what the money is and what the world is. So it has a benefit on that point. But GTA 6 we'll be talking about no doubt for years to come. I'm kind of excited for it, because I think we've said time and time again, just like, we were in college when the last one came out still, were we? No, we weren't. 2013? No, we weren't. We were young, at least, and we recovered from drinking days a lot easier. Well, I should point out, we're like 47 minutes in the show, and we didn't actually, because of all the announcements at the beginning, we never point out we're recording these shows this week just hungover as fuck.
Oh yeah, we are hanging this week, aren't we?
If our voices sound a little bit croakier, that is why. We were at a stag do this weekend, so yeah, went hard a little bit. We only got home really like 2 hours ago, maybe. So, but we're here bringing you this content, see? So even through it all, we're still here. Just like Square Enix bring you content, even though they're not happy about it all the time. Seemingly, no. Final Fantasy 16, great game. I'm still on the cusp of a platinum, gentlemen. I'm doing the grind of Final Fantasy mode. 2 trophies to go, and it's my first Final Fantasy game and platinum. But apparently, according to Square Enix's head honcho, president, he's not happy with it. So they were happy last week. The other week, we reported that they'd sold like 3 million, which we said from the PlayStation 5's install base was very, very impressive in terms of percentage and attach. And then, lo and behold, Square Enix do a Square Enix, and he comes out and says he blames the slow adoption of the PS5. Do we not report every other week that it's selling shit tons of numbers and it's impressive and it's outpacing the PS4 and it can't get them off the shelves quicker? The stock supplies are finally there, and according to Square Enix, it's like it's not good enough.
Like, whatever it is for Square, really.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, because they weren't happy with like the last Tomb Raider one. Obviously, Forspoken and the lesser games, Balan's Wonderworld, everyone they deservedly.
That's fair. You're not happy with them.
That's because they're shit.
Everyone's come out and went, Final Fantasy 16, potential Game of the Year candidate. It's selling tons and tons of copies because of that.
Mm-hmm.
What on earth are they doing? Like, how high are Square's expectations? I think they need to probably actually look through their own financial reports and recalibrate their expectations.
So this is the thing that lots of dysfunctional companies try and do. Like, obviously, like they've been having issues for a while, and if you read the report, it says like revenues are up, quite significantly, but like the operating profits way down, which tells me like they need to like streamline some things internally. But you see this a lot in my line of work. Like companies think like if they just grow more, then all those problems go away. But so everything's going to be a disappointment to them. So like as you said, Richard, they need to like reset and actually say, all right, we can't just fix all these like business problems with just more money, because they're getting more money, they're just pissing it away somewhere internally.
Well, and sometimes it's just things like things cost more money nowadays than they used to.
Yeah,
Like the amount, how especially in the UK, what inflation's doing. That means, yeah, although your revenue might be higher, your operational profit is going to be down
yeah,
because shit costs more.
Yeah.
Like,
With this entry as well, I'd imagine it's going to be quite an evergreen title. Like, it's very PlayStation game, isn't it? It's a third-person action, story-driven adventure, and just like we've seen, like Spider-Man always crops up in the sales, God of War, Horizon. Like every time there's like a boon in sales promotions for PS5, especially recently with that price cut we've just had as well. Remember, you got to imagine a lot of people, whether it's now or it's Christmas or it's next year, they're going to see Final Fantasy 16 and go, yeah, I'll get it. Like, the attach rate is going to be great for this game. It's going to have a big tail off because it reviewed really well. It's going to be in Game of the Year conversation. So come January, it's going to see another spike when everyone's talking about it again. And I just don't know what it's like. It's like a child who cannot make the parent happy, no matter if they graduate school, if they get a great job, if they get a fantastic partner, they have beautiful children. The parent's still like not happy. You can always do more. It's like, okay, Dad, calm down.
I don't know. It's a weird one.
It is.
And the thing is, it's been a pretty stacked year as well so far. This is like in the timeline. This has gone up against like Jedi Survivor and Zelda. So yeah, some people might have just not got round to buying it yet.
Yeah, and like that's not even factoring all the other big hitters like Diablo, Gangbusters.
I only bought
Baldur's Gate comes out next month on PS5, and like that's another huge game. That's at the moment didn't even mention it yet, but Baldur's Gate 3, it's reviewing Metacritic wise higher than Zelda.
Yeah, it looks insane.
Which is like
reviewing
crazy. And that's another game that's not even on my radar, but we digress. Let's round up the show with some movie news, boys and girls. Gran Turismo is out. It's in cinema. It's reviewing okay. So we were surprised last week. Not last week. I wasn't even on last week's show. The week before, we were surprised, Richie, that I can't know, Twisted Metal, the TV series Twisted Metal on Peacock, not available in the UK to watch yet, so I have no idea. Still, it's just not coming over. Reviewed quite well, surprising. Gran Turismo 7, the movie featuring Orlando Bloom and David Harbour, is out. It's reviewing okay. Either of you two going to check this one out? I was going to say GT, GT?
I'm gonna give it a miss. I was a bit confused about it when it first got announced, and then like they did some pretty good marketing to be fair to the studio, and like it kind of piqued my interest. But yeah, like a lukewarm like movie about racing is just not enough to pull me in, as not as a big race fan anyway. So
yeah, I think it's one I won't be going to the cinema to see, but I do think I'll probably check it out when it comes to like whatever streaming service. I think Sony usually prefer Netflix as their go-to starting one. Because I really enjoyed like I think Rush with Chris Hemsworth and stuff in is fantastic, and it's like I do enjoy checking in on like Formula One updates and stuff like that.
Rush
but
was fantastic.
Yeah, I've got no really urge to go to the cinema to see it, but it's again middle of the road movie. It's just it's got to be better than like Fast and the Furious, right? It's going to have a more ground, like it's got a real world story. It's Neil Blomkamp. I quite like his movies as well, so like his style and director choices. So I'm there for it, just not at the cinema. I'll pick it up when it comes to streaming. Richie, you gonna get in the car, stick seatbelt on, and go to the cinema?
No, I'm open to seeing it, but I don't even watch that many movies full stop. So a movie that I'm not that particularly interested in is not something I'm going to go out my way for. I might watch it one time at some point in the future. I don't even actually have an active Netflix subscription at the moment, so it's like the chance of me watching it is pretty slim.
Yeah. Well, how about Uncharted then? Because in the final news story of the final episode ever of Talking to PS, we talk about the Uncharted film franchise featuring Tom Holland, of course, and Mark Wahlberg. Movie reviewed very well, grossed over $350 million, I think, worldwide. So not quite up to Super Mario movie levels, but reviewed well, received well. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Also, as a huge Uncharted fan, I was ready to be properly burnt by this movie and just thinking I'm going to come out thinking it's not Uncharted, it's terrible. Some things were okay, some things could have been done better, but I enjoyed Tom Holland in it. Mark Wahlberg is a terrible Sully, but I enjoyed the movie still regardless of that. And did you two actually manage to check this one out at the cinema, Uncharted? Or not?
No, I saw it on like a streaming platform when it came out.
What were your thoughts on it, Rob?
It was fine, just distinctly fine. I still couldn't get over the fact that I was watching like Peter Parker and Mark Wahlberg go on an adventure. Like,
yeah,
you know, like I think Tom Holland will be a better Nathan Drake on like the third movie.
by the time he's aged.
he'd be a bit like my age. Like he'll probably like moved on from Spider-Man at that point, so I won't as strongly associate it with like with him there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Mark Wahlberg might be older as well, which I guess could be something.
He does at the end of the movie, post-credit scene, spoilers, he does have his mustache. Sully's famous mustache in his Hawaiian shirt thing at the end. So they do a little bit of a, like, we know you wanted him, but I don't know whether contractually just couldn't get him to have it for the movie. So he was like, I'm not growing a porno tash for this movie. And yet then by the end of it, there's a little tease at the show, like, oh, he's there, everybody, with his cigar.
I kind of
kid.
think if he's not willing to grow a mustache, he shouldn't have been cast.
I think he is really.
Like,
I think that's just me reading into
yeah,
it.
it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I can't get over Mark Wahlberg as Sully. He does feel too young. Sully's meant to be quite an aged veteran kind of treasure hunter. And Mark Wahlberg feels like the sort of age that Nathan Drake should be at.
Yeah, but then this is where, like, maybe they're banking on the youth of, if they're thinking, like, look at Harrison Ford, bless him, doing his final Indiana Jones movie at the ripe age of 82. Maybe they're looking for an adventure franchise that could go on for many, many years to replace Indiana Jones, now it's on the way out, without the requirement of going, shit, our actors are, like, pushing pensioner age. So maybe by the time, like Rob said, the third movie, they'll both have played into the roles and their characteristics a lot more.
Yeah. They should at least just dye his hair, mate, because it looks like he's dyed his hair, like, brown-black, right? It's like, come on, mate, dye your hair, be a silver fox.
Be a silver fox. Yeah, embrace it.
They should have hired Bette Reynolds.
Yeah, I mean, my choice was Tom Hanks all along. I thought he would have just been a great.
Tom Hanks,
like,
I could see Tom.
But he's great in everything. But then he's already done a movie called Sully, so he's already played someone of that name. So maybe it's in that why they couldn't get him. But yeah, because Tom Hanks and Sony have some good. They do a lot of movies together, similar to Tom Holland. He's kind of like in Sony's pocket, isn't he, with Spider-Man and then some other movies like the indie ones he's done, and now Uncharted. So either way, I enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of the game, and I don't think I've even mentioned the point of the story, which was the producer of the movie is saying that we are looking at it as a sequel potentially, but it doesn't look like, frustratingly enough, anything's in the works solid for it yet. So they're happy to. The producer's looking at making another, but I think Tom Holland's taken a year out of acting, if I'm not mistaken. And then the SAG writers strike thing is also going on. So you're probably, Mark Wahlberg might be the right age by the time this movie actually does get into production and gets itself out. But hey ho, we might even get another Uncharted game in the meantime, because it's been 2016 was the last game. So you know what, we're getting to that point where I think people are ready for another one. So we've had a couple of games in between. But
who does it though?
Well, that's the other question, isn't it? My hope was on Blue Point, because they did the Uncharted trilogy port from PS3 to PS4, but we'll have to find out. But everybody, that does bring us to a sad end of Talking the PS. Do remember, GamerGuild TV is here. This show will be reformatted from next week onwards. We didn't want to leave you hanging with kind of just going, here's the announcement, and you're not getting a Talking the PS this week, so everyone just goes, what the hell? Don't want to rock the boat too much. But yeah, from this week onwards, every Monday, you will find the GamerGuild podcast here on the channel on GamerGuild TV. See, it just makes sense, all under one umbrella in one place. Well, we'll be talking about PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, PC, cloud gaming, and everything else in between. Maybe a little retro in there as well. We haven't really thought about that, but we could talk about retro. Keep tuned to the channel at GamerGuild TV. Didn't get caught. That was one I could get caught up on at the end there. On all social channels, Threads, Facebook, Twitter, all of that jazz. We will have a weekly live stream, the first under the GamerGuild TV channel. And yeah, we don't know what we're really playing. I think I want to knuckle down and kind of get into something. I think it's been a while since we've done like a playthrough. I've still got Resident Evil in the back of my mind, Rob. I want to go through 2, 3, and 4. So I need to find out the logistics of that. And hey, with a bit more time, I'd like to think we get to a place where we might even do more gaming streams, because we've got that time back to actually play games rather than just talk about them and produce games, produce the shows. But that's been it for Talking the PS. Thank you very much for listening and tuning into 61 episodes, 61 weeks consistently of us talking about PlayStation. We'll see you next time. My name's been Chris.
I've been Richie.
And I've been Rob.
Play whatever makes you the happiest, folks. See you later. Bye-bye.